Good morning. This is Anna Crowe with the Get Real podcast, where CEOs, CMOs, and communications experts share their real advice. It's 5 questions under 9 minutes because we get to it real fast. So let's get to it. Mike, I'm so excited to welcome you to the show. Could you please tell us who you are and what you do in a few sentences?
So I'm Michael Bush. I'm the managing partner at GrowthWays Partners, which is a consulting firm primarily serving the natural products industry. I'm also the CEO of Prenexus Health, which is a branded prebiotic provider. And prior to that, I was the president and CEO of a company called Ganeden Biotech, which was the largest producer of shelf-stable probiotics, sold in 60 countries and about 1,100 SKUs.
Wow.
So yeah, that's it.
You are a busy man, but
I try to stay busy.
I love it. Well, Michael, this podcast is all about authentic connections and getting real. And I hear from other leaders that creating authentic connections can, especially with customers, but also employees, vendors, partners, and everyone, can be challenging when it's very noisy out there. I'd love to hear your take on that.
It's incredibly important. I've considered myself as somebody who, I didn't come up through the traditional business school routes and things like that. So we've, over the years, grown our businesses through fantastic relationships, not only with our customers, but with our employees, and building a culture that is, that surrounds itself by or around pleasing customers and pleasing our employees and taking care of everybody to the point where it became virtually impossible to lose a customer. I mean, we had fantastic track records over the years, but I think that authentic connection between a supplier and their, in my case, it's a business to business type of business, a supplier and the customer has to go way beyond, somebody sending purchase orders and buying something. It has to be a connection where you have, actual relationships with these folks, considering that I spend more time with my customers than I spend with my kids. So I might as well enjoy my time with them as much as I enjoy my time doing anything else.
Absolutely. And that's a fantastic piece of advice, right? Just taking the time to form those relationships and really understanding what's important to people. You said taking care of your employees, taking care of your partners, such an important, not even just a tactic, but an important skill, and something I think you probably should work on if it's not a naturally occurring skill.
Yeah.
Do you have any other real advice for other leaders? Is there anything else that you think is really important?
I think the most important thing is that you have to have buy-in in your organization, literally from, the guys in the warehouse and the receptionist all the way to the CEO. You have to have that authentic connection where, everybody is, one, empowered to do what's right by the customer. So if I got a call from our shipping person and said, we have to get this order out the door to this customer tonight, we have to stick it on a plane and FedEx it. I kind of asked, why are you asking me to do this? Just do it. It should be, you should be doing it by now. Whatever it takes to make the customer happy, and whatever it takes to, to make the employees and the team members feel like they're part of things, which is why, in the cultures and the businesses I've been in, we've made sure that every employee, or virtually every employee, has equity in the business, so that when there's an ultimate exit, that everybody celebrates together and accomplishes something together. But that we have the business structured in such a way that if there is a transaction, which, by the way, every business that I've ever been in has ultimately had an exit transaction. It's kind of the business that I'm in. We want to make sure that there's continuity for the customers as well, and so that they're not afraid of doing business with us, so that they know that ultimately the business may be sold to a bigger and better, strategic, and we want to make sure that culture remains.
That's awesome. And that is very, very important. So I appreciate you sharing that advice. Well, before we get to know a little bit about how you got started, are there any other successful executives such as yourself that you would like to acknowledge or give a shout out to while you're on this podcast?
Well, so a friend and mentor and customer and now business partner is a fellow named Bill Moses. Bill was the founder of Kavita. That company was sold to PepsiCo, and is now the founder of Flying Embers, which is a alcoholic kombucha business based out of Ojai, California. And Bill's been not only a good friend, but he's been a good customer, and he's also been a good mentor all along. And so So I for sure give a shout out to Bill.
Awesome. And kombucha is a hot beverage currently. It's been for a couple of years, but it seems to be on the rise even more so, which is cool to see.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, our last question is more of a fun one. As I said, you've had this incredible career and you're involved in so many organizations and businesses, but can you tell us how you got started? What was your first job?
My first job was at Burger King. And so, which, nobody wants to be the best at something at a job they don't like, but my OCD nature caused me to be a very good closer, to tear down all of the broilers and all that stuff at the end of the day. So next thing you know, here I was in high school and I was working till 2 a.m. and teaching people how to close Burger Kings. I then made a transition into healthcare. I had no idea what I was going to do for a living. My mother was the director of surgery at a hospital and said, there's a job opening in the biomedical engineering department at the hospital, and they're starting a program at the local tech school. It's a 2-year program, an associate's degree program. And I said, I don't know what biomedical engineering is, but I do need a job and I wouldn't mind having some sort of education. My family wasn't in a position to just, pay to have me go to college. So I worked my way through college, got a 2-year degree. And it turned out that I was maybe the world's worst biomedical engineer, and fixing a medical equipment on a regular basis, you don't want to be the worst at that job, but I was pretty good at the management side of things. And so at the age of, I believe, 24, I took a management position with an engineering firm and at the time they were about to start doing some acquisitions. And I called the CEO and I said, I don't know anything about acquisitions and mergers because I've never taken a business class in my life, but I'd love to learn what it is. And if you need any help, let me know. And he called me back and said, I've not met you, but let's get together for lunch. And what we ultimately worked out is if I was willing to work 2 full-time jobs for the price of the current job I had, I could work on these projects, and ultimately became the head of business development, national accounts. And then ultimately we sold that business to GE. We started another business. We sold that to GE. So and then I took then I consulted for a number of years doing turnarounds, and made my way into the natural products industry, where I've made my home ever since, and kind of worked my way up through the ranks. I didn't get my bachelor's degree till I was 38. And so had already bought and sold a couple of businesses by then and just wanted to get the degree. And so it found me in a position where I've been able to, raise, $500 million over the years, sell companies, worth, many, many hundreds of millions of dollars. And the nice thing is I've had fun every step of the way, and have had a great time, and have had great teams, and continue to have a fantastic team.
Wow. What an awesome story, and such an impressive background. But I love that you started in Burger King and ended up in natural products with some medical devices in between. And so very cool. Yeah. And I love your self-awareness. I'm not so great at this, but here's what I'm really good at. And I'm going to lean into that a little bit more.
No, I think a lot of people need to take a little bit better look in the mirror and determine what they're good at, and surround themselves with people that are really good at the things they're not good at, and then focus on what they can do.
Absolutely. Very cool. Well, Michael, how can people get a hold of you or learn about your businesses or anything that you're up to?
The best way to get me is via email, mike@growthways.com. You can go to growthways.com, learn about what we do, what type of services we offer. But I'm pretty freely available.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. And thanks everyone for tuning in. This is Anna Crowe. For more insights, visit us at crowepr.com. Thanks so much. Make it a great day.